So I've got this idea from the new movies that what I saw Jedis doing was basically being kind of like this ultra-elite enforcement arm of the government that was above the government and above the law. And essentially all they did was they went around into bars and hacked off people's arms and then said, nothing to see here, Jedi business, be about your work. And then ran off again. And that was basically, well, in the new movies, that's sort of, I mean, it's not how they really get chosen, but that's sort of this idea.
Did you see the article by, what is it, Brent, who wrote the, with the dolphins?
Star Trek Rising. David Brent.
Oh, David Brent.
David Brent.
Oh,
he wrote an awesome essay about the, why the Empire was right, like.
Yeah, I have serious reservations with David Brent because I had a long exchange of correspondence with him that completely shattered all of the kinds of like warm feelings that I had for him.
This essay is great though.
They just really messed me up. But yeah, I mean I could see in ways that, I mean that's one of the things that we kept joking about is how the new films, the first three, make the later films seem like after the fact propaganda films for the rebels.
The rebels are a bunch of terrorists that go and blow up this huge government installation with thousands of workers aboard, stormtroopers, janitors,
all die.
Right?
Completely. Yeah, exactly.
We're blown up. World Trade Center style.
I mean, and not just that, but basically, what are they doing? They want to bring back the old government in which there was a senate of thousands and thousands that couldn't even control itself. They came up with the idea of creating a clone army to do all of their fighting for them.
The regional governors will keep their personal systems in line, so it's turned into this sort of Bosnia writ large all over the galaxy.
Oh, I don't know. Or it's just,
governors taking care of their own civil
well, it's kind of just a, less federalism and more, more local state government.
I mean, what do? They tax people, they regulated the skies, they tried to keep order, keep down, smugglers or whatever it is. And, they're trying to put down this little terrorist insurgency.
But so, yeah. There's the two parts of it. The part that's torn at the love of the idea of like, the Jedi with Jedi powers running around and doing all kinds of cool stuff. And being like all like Zen, monk, poor.
Fat and complacent over 1,000 generations.
Yeah, or
they're like, well, if it's not in the Jedi library, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. When it comes down to it, it's Obi Wan. That's who I think.
But they've got Obi Wan, people like Obi Wan training these guys. I mean, apparently he's been training, what's his name, right, for 12 years or whatever, and he's fucking sassing masters. He's in there just like, well, if you don't want to promote me right now, then fuck you guys or whatever. And it's like, okay, clearly you are not ready to be made a Jedi. Well, just for the fact that you're fucking getting all hot under the collar right here in the temple and we're talking to you.
Yeah, a friend of mine pointed out a really good thing, which was when they talked about this guy coming along that would fulfill this prophecy of balancing out the Force, and at another time, they say there's only ever 2 Sith Lords at any one time.
Right.
Huh. Balancing out the Force. 2 and 2. Well, looks like the Jedi maybe shouldn't be bucking for that kind of situation.
Well, no, that's what they did. They balanced the Force by taking out the huge preponderance of Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you would have think that they might have seen that coming with their foresight powers,
Well, no, but what it turns out to be is like, this sort of Catholic pre-scandal or whatever. It's like the situation that they have that caused this huge war that caused Darth Vader's situation is that they have a life force religion that's trying to enforce chastity
on
its people. So you're like, raise up the life force in yourself as much as you can, but don't fucking do it. And it has to pinch somewhere, and it squeezes out and explodes all over the freaking galaxy, and there's your lesson. Like,
well, I mean, definitely a good point. I mean, and especially considering...
That's what it was. It was the fucking celibacy law. Like, if they had just allowed him to express it, then there would never be any problem. Him and Amidala would be right down the side. He'd be a Jedi Knight.
The one thing that I did think was really pretty impressive about that was that it's true the fact that exactly what happened is that he fell for this chick, and then he had these these prophetic... He felt, he had these prophetic visions about her doom. And what does, Leota gives him the very Zen-like argument, which makes perfect sense, because it would be the thing that would work, is get over being afraid of losing the stuff you love.
Right.
And so he was like, No, instead I'm not going to do that.
Well, this is why Obi-Wan
and
is
that
like...
was really what the problem with that was.
But
so,
Obi-Wan's in the desert in like, you know, shame, where he's like, oh, I was a Jedi Knight once. And now you see why, because he's totally in dishonor, because he, like, half-ass trained this kid that, like, went off on a rampage. You know what I mean? He didn't do a good job. They're like, don't train this kid. And he's like, yeah, well, fuck you, I'm going to train him anyway. And then, like, look what he brought upon all of his brethren.
Yeah. It's a tough situation all around.
It really is. Hey, Brayden, are you going out?
Alright. Take this lightsaber and vanquish the dancer, Edward Lang.
Take me to the end of the rainbow.